About District 9 2A Division 1. This includes the Alba-Golden Panthers, the Paul Pewitt Brahmas, the Como-Picton Eagles, the Rivercrest Rebels, the Quinlan Bowls Hornets, the Cooper Bulldogs, and the Honey Grove Warriors. That's all the teams in 9-2A D1. Let's go ahead and talk about the Como-Picton Eagles. They went 1-9 last year, 0-6 in district play. They got 8 starters returning on offense and 8 starters returning on defense. New head coach this year for Como-Picton, it's Coach Jeremy Griffin. So we'll have to see how the Eagles do this year. Also, the other East Texas team in that district, the Paul Pewitt Brahmas, they're under the direction of head coach Jeremy Russell. They went 3-7 last season, 3-3 in district play, and they returned 6 starters on offense and 6 starters on defense, including defensive lineman Casey Watson, 6'2", 270 pounds. He had 34.5 tackles last year. And then the running back linebacker KD Watson, 5'7", 170. He had 889 yards and 13 touchdowns rushing last season. The 2 top teams last year in this district were Cooper and Honey Grove. Cooper went 11-2, regional semifinalists. They returned 6 starters on offense, 6 on defense. Adrian Maps, over 1,300 yards rushing, 280 yards receiving, 18 total touchdowns, 48 tackles, 3 picks. He did a little bit of everything. Zach Harper for the Bulldogs also had 143 tackles last year as well. For Honey Grove, the Honey Grove Warriors, they went 11-2, regional semifinalists last year as well. 8 starters return on offense, 9 on defense. Their quarterback, Rylan Morris, he had 888 yards and 10 touchdowns passing, over 1,700 yards rushing, and 32 touchdowns last year for Rylan Morris. So he's going to be a difficult task. Honey Grove had a great defense last year. Levi Beavers, 155 tackles, 34 tackles for loss. Asher Price, 137 tackles, 7 sacks. Brody Mahon, 120 tackles, 4 sacks. Mason Banker, 153 tackles. Just defense galore over there. The other 2 teams in the district, Quinlan Bowls, the Hornets, they're under the direction of head coach Johnny Cannon. They went 2-8 last year, 1-5 in district play. They got 6 starters returning on offense and 6 on defense. And the Rivercrest Rebels, they went 3-7 last year, and they returned 8 on offense and 8 on defense. And the last team in this district we have to talk about is the Alba-Golden Panthers. They are coached by head coach Drew Webster. They went 7-4 last season, and I actually got to talk with head coach Drew Webster. So let's go ahead and hear the interview with Coach Webster. All right, Coach Webster, the head football coach of the Alba-Golden Panthers. Coach, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great. How are you, Kale?
I'm doing great. Let's talk a little bit about last season. A 7-4 overall record by district finalists, 3-3 district record. Just talk a little bit about last season and kind of the ups and downs that you had last year.
You know, last year we were 7-4, and what's wild is those 4 losses were to top 15 teams in the state. We lost to Cooper and Honey Grove, who were both top 10 at the time when we played Wolf City. They were top 10. And then, of course, we lost in the playoffs to Beckville in a monsoon there at Tyler Rose. I think when you stack it up, you want to say it's a successful season. You had the most wins that we've had since they've made the playoffs and were district champs. And so 7 wins is always an accomplishment for those kids. But it's kind of left us this offseason with something to grow on and something eager to take that next step. We've been somewhat successful the last 3 years, having winning records, but our guys are glad to be winning, but they want more. So it kind of has springboarded us and kind of been the battle cry this spring and into the summer part. So we're excited about where we're going and the direction and the leadership we have with those kids. And so it's been fun to watch, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
And it definitely has seemed like the Alba-Golden Athletics has had an upward trajectory these past few years. And what this offseason, you were talking about the taste that were left in their mouths of this offseason and spring. What has the buy-in been like from the kids this offseason and spring to get ready for this upcoming year?
What's really big and what our kids really buy into is starting and believing that January 1 or, track season is really the jump start and the spark for the upcoming year. And our kids buy into that and they love it. I think our success started when we became district champs in track and area champs in track, just believing that we can run with people. We are just as athletic and we are just as fast as some people. So our kids buying into that has bled over to the success that our entire program has had. Guys, girls, it doesn't matter right now what sport it is. Our kids are competing their tails off, and it's something that this community is bought into as well, being wild and crazy fans and enjoying and being there and showing up and showing out. It's giving them something to rally around no matter what the sport is. And so it really did start with track season, and it kind of springboarded, like I said, all the way through right now, where we've got kids. I mean, we had kids out there that are on the track right now running and putting that work in, and they're seeing the fruits of their labor, and we tell them it's hard. Being in athletics is hard. Running on that track is hard, but they'll see the rewards in that, and it has shown the last couple of years with our program wide.
And let's talk about realignment. Every 2 years, we gotta do this realignment of districts. It's a similar district to the one you've been in, added a couple of different teams, but just talk about the new district realignment.
It is a different year. It's always different realignment time because you get new faces in pre-district just as much as you get in actual district. We did have one team that we kind of switched out, basically, made an exchange. Wolf City is out of the district now, and we've got Paul Pewitt. And I'll start with them. Paul Pewitt, they're dropping down, but they're dropping down from a district of doom themselves. They've always, they're always going to be competitive. They're going to be hard-nosed kids. And I think that's what our district is made up of. That district we have is made up of a lot of smash mouth, not finesse, come at you, get you some football. And we're that way as well. Honey Grove has been stellar. I think that they are a top-notch program. Coach Fletcher has done a great job over there. Coach Castro at Cooper has built himself a group and a team that you can't go in there and they're gonna challenge you every single week. They're gonna make you play responsibility football. And then Rivercrest and us, we're always a battle. I think the winner of that game the last 3 years has made the playoffs. But you can't sleep on guys like Bowles and Como either, because they can slip up and they can take care of business any Friday as well. So it is a strong football district. We feel like if you get into the playoffs and you can play these battle-tested games, it's only going to lead to, I think, success in the playoffs with other districts around us.
Absolutely, top to bottom, not an easy game in district play. Well, let's talk about this upcoming season. You got pretty much the whole team returning, 10 starters on offense and 10 starters on defense. That's got to be a great thing to see as a coach. But what are you expecting this upcoming year, and what are your thoughts on the upcoming season?
Well, you take that. We do have 10 guys coming back on both sides of the ball with experience. We had our big thing on offense is we're not going to change who we are. We might change what the end picture is, but the scheme wise, what we're going to do is going to be the same. We've had Easton Campbell the last 3 years at quarterback, and he graduated, and so having a new signal caller is going to be something new. But we've got guys that can handle that. We got guys that want to be that guy. We've got Sam Olson, who's going to be a junior that we feel like can have the keys to the car and be able to run this offense. But it happens because we've got great linemen up front. Our senior class is good as far as that is, and they put their time in and they've been successful. You got a great front seven in defense. I always seem to praise our front seven, but our front seven lead to our back end on defense being pretty good too. We've had 17 plus interceptions the last 2 years because those guys up front put pressure on the quarterback to where our guys don't have to cover a lot. But when they do make a mistake, we let them know. And so that's kind of what we want to do. But we want to make that, again, that next jump. We play competitive halves with the top of the top, but we want to be able to put it all together. And that's kind of been the motivation behind all of our guys going into this. Having a coaching staff that's all returning on the offensive side for sure is good. We've got a new defensive coordinator this year, and he's going to bring that same intensity that we have to the defensive side and cause havoc. And that's what we want to do. We want to make people feel uncomfortable playing this.
That's a good strategy to have, because look, everybody's got a plan. You remember Mike Tyson said everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. Then it's all different. All right, Coach Webster. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and talking to us today, and best of luck this season to the Panthers. And we'll talk to you down the road.
Hey, thank you, Kay. Thanks for having us.
All right, have a good one.
You too.